Hey, but what's up? UltraMag64 here, and today, guys, I bring you something a little different. So if you got your nose to the grindstone of the gaming industry like I do, then you'll know that this week marks the week of E3. Now, usually I don't do much for E3. I watch the events, enjoy them, and that's about it. However, this year I figured, why not share the experience with you guys? So I'm going to be running down all the events, all the news, all the crazy wacky announcements, and all the cool stuff. I'm going to be jotting down my reactions, and overall just give my thoughts on all the cool gaming stuff we can expect this year and beyond. Alrighty guys, it's time for the final countdown. Let's take a look and see what Nintendo's got up their sleeve for E3 this year. Now we knew that Nintendo wasn't exactly going to have a big presence this year, and yeah, that's pretty much the case. They've only got one game to showcase on the show floor this time around, and it is Zelda. However, they did do a live event where it was basically the Treehouse crew playing a whole bunch of Zelda, and also we got a little bit of Pokemon in it. So basically, I was right! Now, the funny thing is I've actually been following this thing, I've been watching it all day. They had a few other little announcements here and there, but mainly, the name of the game today was Zelda, Zelda, Zelda. And I gotta say, I really hope that Skyrim comes out before Zelda, because if it don't, then I think I'm gonna be playing a lot more Zelda than I am Skyrim. So anyway, we kicked this live event into full gear with the first reveal of the title for Legend of Zelda Wii U and NX. We don't have to call that anymore. We can officially call it The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. And I gotta say, this thing looks amazing. We already knew it looked amazing graphically, but what I mean is from a gameplay standpoint, this looks so cool. Now, basically what they've done is they've taken Zelda and kind of seems like they've flung it into the future where Hyrule has fallen. Not exactly sure how that's happened. Hopefully we get more info, but what really was cool was we kind of got a little bit of voice acting in it. Now, granted, Link doesn't talk, or at least he doesn't talk anywhere in the game except for his yas and all that jazz. But we actually got a voice talking to us, which is kind of a first in a Zelda game. You know, as long as you don't count the CGI or CDI games, which, who counts those? Not I. Not I. And basically, the name of the game of this live event was to flesh out and kind of get a better idea on what the heck an open world Zelda game entails. And it entails a whole lot. So much, in fact, that I may not be able to cover all of it because I might not be able to remember all the little things that they showed. But I'm gonna try. So basically now we have dungeons, and then we also have smaller little puzzle-centric mini-dungeon type things, which basically give you new little runes, I believe they were called. And they allow you to do some really cool stuff. Like, this is a game similar, a lot of people are comparing it to Skyrim. I'm gonna compare it more to Minecraft. Not in the sense where you can build stuff, but the amount of freedom you're given in the game. Now, granted, Skyrim gives you a lot of freedom, and I won't say that it doesn't make me think of Skyrim. What I will say, though, is that, like, the amount of things you can do and the creative approach you can take on any task is amazing. Basically, what if I had to boil Zelda Wild down to one word? Freedom is what I'd say it. Because you have the freedom to choose how you approach a situation. Do you want to go in stealthy? Cool, you can do that. Do you want to use your abilities to manipulate the environment and have the environment take them out? Cool, you can do that. There's a lot of really meaty information in this giant live stream. And I'm so glad we got a lot of it. A lot of it was kind of just this, hey, there's this, but let's explore this sort of smaller mechanic a little bit more. Like, for instance, the fact that you don't just go in and you're like, I've got a sword, I'm gonna kill everything with this sword, yeah! No, you actually have different weapons. It seems like it's taking a lot of inspiration from Wind Waker, where basically you have to switch out weapons all the time. You can take enemies' weapons, and they have a durability to them, similar to what we did in Skyward Sword, where we had a durability, I think, for the shield, if memory serves. And so you had to keep buying new shields. But in this one, you actually have to take the enemy's equipment and stuff and use it against them, which is really cool. It opens up to so much more diverse playstyles. If you want to be a spear wielder, you can be a spear wielder. If you want to be a club guy, you can be a club guy. If you want to use your swords, you can use your swords. If you want to take a Stalfos arm and beat them with it, you can! And that's what's really cool about this. There's even like different types of bombs as well, where you can use a square bomb or a circular bomb, and you can roll the bomb similar to Skyward Sword, where you could roll bombs, but these are all remote detonated, so that way you don't have to time anything or anything like that. You just have to roll it and then boom, explode, and you can kill stuff. What else is really cool is there's a lot more planning involved in this, where basically there are different environments in Wild, like, for instance, there's a snowy mountain, there's Death Mountain, it looks like, there's a desert area, and Link can actually change his apparel, and you have to change your apparel to suit your environment. You can no longer run around in just a green tunic. You actually have to change to suit your environment. Like, there are heavier clothes for the colder environments, and then there are, I'm assuming there are going to be, like, short-sleeved, lighter clothes for, the hotter environments. And it really seems like they're taking this concept and really, really beefing it up, because it's like there are so many ways you can approach it. Say you don't have a heavier clothing option, and you're like, well, darn, I want to go over to this Ice Palace, because guess what? You can go anywhere in this game. Literally, it is like the original Zelda, where you can just go. You don't have to explore the dungeons in a certain order. You can do whatever you want, go wherever you want, and that is amazing! But say you don't have the necessary equipment, you're still gonna have a hard time, but you can still do it. Another thing they introduced is cooking. So, say I wanted to go into a colder environment, what I could do is take a lot of equipment or cooking, and cook items that basically would allow me to resist the cold. And then I can go into colder environments. But say I don't have the necessary cooking supplies to do a big meal or anything like that. Then what you can do is you can actually craft things. That's right, you can actually take trees down and chop them down, and then use the lumber to make fire and stuff like that. And then you can use that fire to actually, explore a area. Granted, you're gonna have to put the fire away, because now you have rock climbing, and basically the return of the stamina meter as well. Always have trouble with that darn word. But like, for instance, Link can rock climb. He can run. He can jump. No rolling, as far as I can find. I have yet to see anyone roll. Which, okay, I guess I'll just jump everywhere now instead of rolling, which is fine. But he also has this glider thing as well. But anyway, back to the stamina meter. Basically, you have to watch that, because if you're climbing a rock and you're like, oh no, I don't have enough stamina, oh no, you fall. You're gonna fall. You're gonna done goof and fall, and that's gonna be a bad time. It's really cool because, like, one thing they showed, and this like got me so giddy. And I know I might be sounding a little hyped up, but I'm just like dumping information right now because Zelda's one of the few things in life that I love so much. But they introduced this magnetic ability thing where you can basically pick up items. Like they had these submerged chests and stuff in a pond, and they basically used the magnetic ability to pick up the chest and put it on the ground. And that's so cool! Like, the amount of stuff you can do. Like, another thing they had was this one ability where you could stop the momentum of of an item. And basically, it was a timed thing, so you could only do it for so long. But what you could do is you could actually, like, hit it. And as you were hitting it, it was building up this, I guess, kinetic energy. And then when the time ran out, it just launched it. Like, it was gone. That was so cool! Another really interesting thing is that you actually get this, I'm calling it the Sheikah tablet, because it's basically a tablet that Link gets. It's got, like, NFC and all that cool stuff. It's the latest smartphone craze. But anyway, that allows you to basically look through it like, similar to the telescope in Wind Waker. And then you can actually, like, put little waypoints onto the map. And then you can put multiple waypoints. So if you want to go to multiple places, you can do that. Another cool thing is in the map itself, you can actually mark down areas. So they actually encountered a enemy that was like really, really strong and you weren't, and the person wasn't ready for it. And so they were like, cool, I'm going to mark this and come back to it when I have better equipment. And that's the thing that really is kind of cool, is it's like Zelda's no longer just this action game. You actually have to plan and prepare for fights. For instance, like they have these weird golem things that are sleeping and stuff, and they, when they wake up, they will wreck your shop because they will kill you in like a couple hits. Like when one thing, like it gives you enough time to get out of the way, but if you don't get out of the way in time, you're basically gonna go down to 1 heart, or even like a quarter of a heart, and that's really cool because it's like, okay, I have to plan this out. I have to plan out how I want to take down this big bad thing. I have to get my best equipment, and my best like armor and stuff like that, and really take this thing out. And that's so cool. I'm really hoping the full game's like this, and supposedly like it's going to be even bigger than Twilight Princess's world, which I haven't played Twilight Princess in a while, so I'm not exactly 100% like remembering how big the world was, but I feel like that world was really big. So from the scale of what we saw, granted we only saw a small sliver because it's a demo, but what we did see was huge. And like the whole freedom to do and go wherever you want sounds really promising. And I'm really hoping in the full game that they keep that. I'm not sure about like the story elements and stuff, because so far we haven't seen anything in the story. I don't think we're going to see anything in the story until this thing gets released. As far as I remember, they actually did say that, hey, guess what, there's not going to be any story info, so don't worry about spoilers or anything like that, so that's fine. But what's really kind of cool is that the subtle use of technology in Zelda. Like, Zelda's always been a fantasy style game, and they've actually implemented technology in a way that kind of sort of makes sense in their world. They're not using lightsabers and hover bikes and stuff. They're just using this like weird, ancient kind of tech that we don't exactly know what it is or where it came from or anything like that. But it's really cool, and I really hope we see more of that. It kind of makes me think of that one race from Skyward Sword where they could stop time in little bubbles and stuff. I can't remember their darn names. But yeah, it's just Zelda overload. So then before all that Zelda stuff happened, we also got news on Pokemon. So we actually got a live gameplay demo of Pokemon, and it feels like I've gotten a lot of info I already knew just from watching the gameplay trailers they've released. But we did get a couple Pokemon that new Pokemon we saw. We saw like a woodpecker Pokemon, and I believe like some ferret or some I forget what it was. It was like a mongoose. It was a mongoose Pokemon. And like we had a brief. It was very brief. We got a little bit more on the story bits. A little bit more into the Pokemon and stuff like that. Not a whole lot of info was dropped. And that's fine because Pokemon's coming out later this year. I'm sure we're going to get more info as, stuff happens. But it was cool to see nonetheless. It was awesome. I just wish that Nintendo had brought out more. We got a few release dates for things. I know, like, Paper Mario got a release date. And then we also got new amiibo as well. We also got a new set of Mario amiibos, which is going to have, I believe, Waluigi, Daisy, and Boo, I think, if my memory serves. And then we also got 3 Legend of Zelda amiibos. We got a Link riding a horse, which looks amazing. Link using a bow, which again looks amazing. And then one of those golem things that actually has posable arms, which is really cool. I know they talked about wanting to do like a transforming R-Wing amiibo, but they just couldn't do it. So this is kind of interesting. I really want to see. I want to get these amiibos, obviously, because these amiibos look really nice. Amiibos always look good. I've got a few of them. I've got like the Splatoon and the Shovel Knight amiibos and like the Mega Man and Villager and stuff like that. And they always look good. So I'm definitely gonna pick me up some of these amiibos. But that's about it for the Nintendo's conference. That's it. And I gotta say, darn it, Nintendo! I wish that you would have different stances on YouTube! Because I want to freaking play your games! Like, seriously, Zelda looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and I could see myself easily playing that darn game, but darn it all, Nintendo, you make it so hard! I'm sorry. I was just so frustrated the entire time watching this thing and was like, it's amazing! I can't play it on the channel without worrying about stuff! But whatever, I'll find a way. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. I'll find a way. We also got a few little bits of info just wrapping up here. Where basically the NX version and the Wii U version of Zelda are going to be basically kind of the same experience. I'm not sure what that entails. I'm not sure if that means that the NX isn't going to have any, unique features to it. I guess probably will have unique features and they're just not telling us. But it seems like that basically whichever version you decide to go with, you're going to have a good time with Zelda. But that about wraps it up for all the coverage of E3 I'm going to do. We got all the press conferences done, and yeah, there we go. It's done. So, I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you have a fantastic day. Join me next E3 for whatever gaming news drops, and hopefully it's going to be some good stuff. I'm hoping real good. Things are probably going to be a lot different next year. We'll see. We'll see what happens. I'm hopeful for the future, and I really can't wait for stuff like the NX, the next Xbox, and quite possibly the next Sony system. We'll see what happens. But anyway, guys, I'm UltraMag64. Remember, always game with your best friends and families, or game alone online. I don't care. Just game and do it responsibly and fun. And just remember, have all the funs with all your acquaintances and whatnot. And while you're doing that, happy gaming. I'll catch you guys on the flip side with more videos in the future. Bye-bye.